One of the most common questions I get is this. If a father dies without having a will, can his daughter claim a share in the ancestral property? It's a question filled with emotion because behind it there's always a story. A family sitting around a table, memories of a father, and suddenly the question of property comes in. And in that moment, it feels less like a legal question and more like a test of relationships. But let's strip it down today, not with heavy legal jargon, but with clarity, stories, and some real life lessons. Because understanding your rights is not just about law, it's about dignity, fairness, and planning for the future. Imagine property like a river. It flows from one generation to another. If the father is gone, the river doesn't stop there. It naturally branches out to the heirs. But who are those legal heirs? Is the daughter part of that branch? The short answer is yes, she is. But the long answer, the one that courts have wrestled with, is what makes this topic so important. Here is where the law gives us a story of change. Before 2005, under the Hindu Succession Act, a daughter was not considered as a co-partner in the ancestral property. In plain words, she wasn't seen as having the same birthright as a son. But the Hindu Succession Amendment Act of 2005 changed everything. From that moment, daughters were placed at par with sons. Equal rights, equal duties. And in Vineeta Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma, a 2020 case, the Supreme Court made it crystal clear. A daughter's rights exist by birth, not by the father's decision. Even if the father passed away before 2005, the daughter can still claim her share. Think about it. It's not a legal reform, it's a cultural reset. It's like the law that finally caught up with a truth we should have known all along. That daughters and sons are equal stakeholders in the family legacy. Now, let's get practical. If the father dies without leaving a will, that's what we call intestate succession. Under the Hindu Succession Act, the property is divided among class 1 heirs. So, who are they? Widow, sons, daughters, mother of the deceased. So, yes, if you're a daughter, you stand exactly where your brother stands, equal footing. This is true for both ancestral property and self-acquired property of the father. If there is no will, daughters are in line of succession. Let me share a story I came across. A daughter in Delhi, after her father's death, was told by her relatives, "This house is your brother's. You are married now." She felt guilty even thinking of claiming a share. But she asked a lawyer and the law was on her side. The court affirmed her right not as a charity but as a matter of birthright. That moment wasn't just about property. It was about her self-worth, her dignity. And sometimes that's what the law really does. It gives voice to fairness when society hesitates. But here's the catch. Legal rights on paper and family relationships in reality, they don't always blend smoothly. Many daughters let go of their rights to preserve peace, and that choice is a personal decision. So here's a life lesson. Knowing your rights doesn't mean you must always fight for them. But not knowing them means you never even had the choice. If you're in this situation, here's what you need to know. Check the nature of the property. Is it ancestral or self-acquired? The rights apply to both, but the process may differ. Identify the legal heirs, widow, sons, daughters, and the mother. If any are not alive, their children may step in. Apply for legal heir certificate or succession certificate. This is your first legal document to claim a share. Seek partition of the property. If heirs can't agree, you can file a suit for partition in court. Remember the timelines. Don't delay too long, as disputes can get complicated. Each of these steps isn't just legal, it's practical. Because when you know the path, the anxiety reduces. This whole debate is about whether daughters can inherit ancestral property. It isn't just about land or houses. It's about what kind of society we want it to be. Do we see daughters as guests in another family or as equal pillars in their own? And maybe that's the metaphor I want to leave you with. Property is like roots of a tree. It anchors you to your past. And daughters deserve those roots just as much as sons do. So, if you found this video useful, don't just stop here. Reflect on it. Talk to your family. If your parents are alive, encourage them to make a will. It prevents so many disputes later. If you're a daughter, remember the law has already recognized your place. And if you're a parent, recognize the gift of fairness you can pass on. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think more daughters are now standing up for their rights, or is society holding them back? Share your views in the comments because these conversations matter. And if you're here for clarity, stories, and real legal insights that touch daily life, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon because every week we are decoding law not as dry rules but as life lessons that empower you. Remember, your property may be inherited, but fairness must be chosen. Take care. Bye.